Hello, hello, good evening. What's up, peeps? What's up, people? What's up? What's up? Good evening, good evening. What's happening? What evening? What evening? Hey, y'all. Hope everybody had a great weekend, great day. You ready for some real talk? Invite your followers, invite your friends. Be ready to engage and learn. What if my parents are homophobic? Not what if. My parents were homophobic. And to this day, I regret taking so long to come out. And I regret how I came out. But I don't regret coming out. And I know that it is a very difficult thing to do. But I want to encourage anybody who's in the closet to free yourself before it's too late. Let me tell you my story. I was 30 years old and I had been in the closet basically all my life because as far back as I can remember, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I was attracted to girls. I knew from probably age 5 that I was attracted to girls. And I made a decision. Yes, I made a decision to keep it hidden because I saw the reaction of my parents and my family members and how they used to talk about gay people. And it's such a funny thing because I actually have 3 godfathers who were gay. So my mom actually associated with gay people, but that is not what she wanted for her own child. And she made that pretty clear by the derogatory things that she used to say towards gay women and lesbians and dykes, as she used to call them. And so it certainly was not an encouraging environment for me. And I imagine that it's not an encouraging environment for any of you who remain in the closet. Because let's face it, that's why we stay in the closet. Because nobody encourages us to come out. And because we don't want to lose our family and our friends and the lifestyle that we have become accustomed to. And we know that it's a strong possibility that we could lose those things when we come out. So I chose to remain in the closet. I chose to seek religion. So I was involved in Jehovah's Witnesses for 10 years, thinking that religion would cure me, as they say. And I remained trapped. And when I tell you I was in the closet, I wasn't in the front of the closet, I wasn't peeking out. I was so far back up in the crevices of the dark closet. In fact, I had made sure that I wasn't getting out by chopping off the handle, as I say. And one day I went to visit my parents with my then girlfriend at the time, who I had convinced everybody was a very good friend of mine. And we went to my parents' house for dinner. And she just blurted it out. Can you imagine? You're there You're eating dinner. Everything's going okay. And then out of the blue, she says, I love your daughter. Yeah. Yeah. I was calling on God, trust me, because the piece of chicken that I was eating somehow got stuck in my throat and I started to choke. Okay. I know it's funny. It's funny. I know. I know. Uh, I started to choke. I almost passed out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, did she just say that or am I in some type of dream, right? After I recovered from my choking spell, yeah, I do. It's funny now that I think about it. But trust me, I wasn't laughing that night at all. After I recovered from my choking spell, I looked at my parents and I looked at her, and my first inclination was, oh my goodness, my parents are gonna kill me. Because they had pretty much said that to me. But the strangest thing happened. They didn't. They just started crying. My mom was crying. My dad was upset. And after an hour of two of talking and screaming and crying, come to find out what really hurt them the most was that I didn't tell them myself that this stranger, as they called her, told them. And they were hurt by that for a long time. A very long time they were hurt by that. In fact, when my mom died 4 years ago, she reminded me of how much I hurt her by allowing a stranger to tell her something so important to me. And it almost kind of broke her heart. And that is why I encourage you to don't make the same mistake that I made, because you cannot get that back. Don't let your parents and the people that are important to you find out about your sexuality, find out about who you are from someone else. Because I was 30. I was 30 years old, Emerald Dragon. And yeah, and I couldn't take back that moment, and I always regretted it. Suffice to say, that relationship didn't last too much longer after that because I was really, really pissed, or felt that you couldn't. They understood why I would be afraid, but they were hurt that I didn't believe that they loved me enough. My mom was old school, and she was one of those people. It's like, I could talk about you like a dog, but nobody else can. And that woman loved me, and I didn't trust it enough. And I know that there are lots of horror stories out there about kids who come out to their parents and their parents abandon them and kick them out of the house and all those sorts of things. I get it. I've heard many of those stories. And I've heard parents say that they would do that. But I believe in the power of love. And I also believe that if you think that your parents are loving you while you're in the closet, then you are mistaken, because they don't know you. They are loving a facade because they don't know you. When you don't share who you are authentically with someone that you love, they are not loving you. They are loving who you're pretending to be. And you will find as you get older that you will regret not being your authentic self, because you may not get a second chance or a real chance to be who you are and foster the relationship that you could really have with your parents. And it will be rocky at times. Listen, it wasn't always easy, but it was so much better. I really want to, but I don't know how. And what I would say to you is write a letter to your parents and tell them everything you would want to tell them if you could. And keep that letter and keep reading it and reading it and reading it until you have the courage to hand it to them. Because sometimes you might not be able to say the words, but write it down. Because who you are is not going to change. But what happens when they never knew you to begin with? Well, if they never knew you to begin with, what do you mean when you say never knew you to begin with? Because I can categorically tell you that one thing my mom said to me that I'll never forget. She said, mothers always knew. That she always knew. She absolutely always knew. She was just waiting years for me to confirm what she always knew. And she was hurt that I had gone through my teenage years, I had gone through my early adulthood, I had gone through, 10 years in my early adult years till I got to the age of 30. And I had suffered through that period all by myself. They never took the time to get to know you. Then that's that's far more complex than just your sexuality. That is far more complex. And I think that you probably need to sit down and really map out what you would like a relationship with your parents to look like, because it would seem that you would have to build up some sort of relationship with them first to ensure that there is unconditional love before you even begin to tell them about your sexuality if you're in the closet. And then again, now that I'm thinking about it, really, that might be even better, because if they never knew you to begin with, then hey, then who you are is who they're going to know. You have nothing to lose because they never knew you anyway. That might be a win-win. 7 years? Wow, that's a long time. How old are you, Dragon? Emerald Dragon. I was in the closet for 25 years, 15 turning 16. And when did you acknowledge to yourself that you were gay? 8. Okay. Well, Emerald Dragon, like I said, I would certainly write that letter. And at the end of that letter, I want you to decide whether or not you are ready for any consequence that may come from living your truth. Because I'm not going to tell you that everything's going to be perfectly okay and your life is all of a sudden going to be fantastic because you've come out of the closet. It has consequences. But you have to ask yourselves, are the consequences for coming out of the closet greater or worse than being trapped in the closet? Because that's what we are, you know. When we're in the closet, we're trapped in there. And we're trapped in there more so by what we believe is going to happen. And what we believe may not always be the reality. I believe, and my experience has been, even in my adulthood since I've been out, and I'm out in every facet of my life. And my experience has been that people have more respect for people that are true and honest to their reality than those people that are living a lie. And I've heard that from many people. Many people have said that they respect the fact that I'm openly and honest with who I am rather than living a false life, really perpetrating to them. And I've tried to explain to people that it is society, unfortunately, that has pushed many of us into that position where we have to perpetrate. And I think we ourselves talk ourselves out of living our truth a lot of times because we believe that our life is going to be so bad. And it's either, for me, it's either our parents love us unconditionally or they don't. And that is the test. And it won't be easy for them because you know our parents, this really helped me. Thanks so much. I'm so glad I found your podcast. Yes, I'm glad you did too. Certainly follow me. I believe in education and I've opened myself up to share my experience because I think we don't talk enough. We don't talk and we don't encourage each other enough because it's not easy. And I wish I had somebody that I could talk to when I was your age. Certainly, I would have loved to have had somebody to talk to when I was your age. I would have loved to have somebody that I can ask questions to and just talk to. I mean, it doesn't even have to be anything deep. Just be encouraged by that it will get better. And trust me when I tell you it will get better. That is one thing I can assure you. That life outside of the closet is so much better than life inside of the closet. I remember, I was living this life that was like constantly looking over your shoulder. Like everything you do, you wonder like who saw this and who saw you do that, who saw you look at that girl and is the person that you're sleeping with gonna out you. And I mean, relationships are even more tense because you could be in a relationship with somebody and that person could out you because they're mad at you. And I'm not suggesting that that is why she outed me. She outed me for purely selfish reasons. She outed me because she wanted me out of the closet and I was taking too long for her, quite frankly. But it wasn't her place to do that. It was my place to tell my parents, and I don't believe in outing people. I've never been a fan of that, of outing people. Though sometimes, some of these politicians rub me the wrong way, and I'm thinking, we all know what you're about, but again, I'm not that type of person. But I get it, and it is scary. But would you have come out if she didn't do that? Probably not that day, and certainly not while I was eating chicken. I can tell you that. I would not have picked that time to come out. But I believe that I would have. I was getting to that point where I was getting drained and I I had gone through a lot of emotional stress. I was having headaches and physical problems. I was always stressed out, and I generally was miserable. I was not a happy person at all. And I think that I would have soon come to that reality without her assistance, most definitely. And I was kind of in love too, you know. You know, love makes you do these things. Love makes you want to live a better life, I think. So I might have, I might have done it, but definitely not that day. Let me emphasize that day, and not while I was eating chicken. Never come out while you're eating chicken because you could die. You could die. Never forget that day. That was so hilariously funny. But never come out while eating anything. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Never. Not even water. Not even while you're drinking water. You could choke on water too. Trust me. But you gotta pick the right time. But more importantly, you gotta know when it's right for you. You gotta know when it's important to feel that you want a better life. And I often think that if I would have come out sooner, I may have had more time to show my mother and my family my authentic self. And I think they would have liked me. Because we're good people. And the closet makes us not so good people in that we become accustomed to lying. We become accustomed to a facade, and one lie becomes another lie, becomes another lie, and then we get good at lying. And I was never very good at it. And I remember, my sister used to say, definitely. And you could lose yourself in all of that lying. I remember my sister used to say that I would say things like, oh, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I went to the football game with a friend. And then, oh, what did you do this weekend? I told you I went to dinner with a friend. Oh, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I didn't do anything. I just stayed home. So, what did you do this weekend? I was like, I couldn't remember the story. You be just telling, exactly, you be telling different stories. You be confused. When really, the only thing you did was you stayed in bed, cuddled up, watching Netflix, well, maybe not Netflix, but watching DVDs and laughing in the house with the person that you were currently seeing. And that's the other thing about being in the closet. Yeah, DVD and chill. Surprised I didn't get pregnant. Ah, oh, I'm killing myself. I know, right? Yeah, DVD and chill. Yeah, that's how I got pregnant. No. Um, but, you know, I remember I used to go to work. I used to work in this exam company. And every morning, like Monday morning, the company would provide us these donuts, like this continental breakfast sort of thing. And we would all go to this room and we would get these donuts and coffee, like a little lunchroom. And people would just be talking about their weekend. And I had weekend envy. Like I would envy the freeness with which they would talk about their weekends and what they did and how great their weekend was. And me and my boyfriend or me and my boo or me and my snookums or my baby, we went this and we did that. And I would be like, what are you doing for the weekend? Yes. And I would be like so envious. Snookums, what even? Yeah, snookums, snookums. Listen, don't be hating on what I call my boo, my snookums. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so and they would ask me, well, what did you do this weekend? And I would be like, gotta make up another lie. And I would create these weekend adventures. And then sometimes I would say things like, oh, well, I didn't do anything, instead of just saying nothing. But because I had weekend envy, I would make up these weekends just so I could fit in, right? And I would create these weekend fantasies, and sometimes I would include locations where the people went, and they would be like, oh, well, I didn't see you there. I was there. And then I'm going to have to lie because I was like, oh, well, what time were you there? Because I was there like around 10 o'clock. And they say, well, I was there at 9 o'clock. And then I was like, oh, well, I must have got there at 11 o'clock. You know, then you're on the course of lying. And then, I know it was hard because trust me, anybody who knows me knows that I have a very poor memory, which is why I write everything down and keep everything in my phone because I can't remember anything. And even back then, I just couldn't remember a lot of stuff. And I couldn't remember what I told this person or that person. And so, it got to the point where I just would not go for the Monday morning donuts and coffee breaks because I got tired of coming up with stuff to say I did on the weekend, and I had too much pride to say I did nothing. And that's what living in the closet does. It it deprives you of sharing, and eventually it deprives you of participating in different things because you don't want to keep lying, so you eventually just stop participating. Yes, Emerald Dragon. I certainly would encourage you to come out if you're ready. And if for no other reason but to live your life. No, I'm not married. Not yet, anyway. Well, in Bermuda, oh, yeah. I'm a ring person. I'm a do whatever the hell I like person, and wherever I like to wear a ring, I wear it. But this is actually the finger over here. Yeah. Yeah, I just do what I want. But we're holding a referendum in Bermuda on gay marriage. And hopefully if that referendum passes, they will allow gay marriage or civil marriages, one of them. But until then, I'm not married because I don't want to have to leave my country to get married. I want to get married in my own country. I hope so. We're going to need lock. Well, actually, we're not going to need lock. We're going to need people to do the right thing. That's what we're going to need people to do. Get out and vote and do the right thing. It's supposed to be sometime in June, so hopefully. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm confident that there are enough decent human beings in this country that they will stop depriving me of my human right. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get going now. I got a long day tomorrow. I'm gonna hit the sack. But I just want to share that And I want to encourage you to follow me, and let's continue to have this open dialogue. Encourage you to invite your followers and your friends and family. And maybe that might be a way. I really believe that education and open dialogue is also the key to acceptance. And so I try to talk to as many straight people as I can and encourage them to have quite frank and open dialogue so that their understanding grows. And I really believe once their understanding grows, they will really realize what it means to deprive people of their right to happiness. And as long as we are talking about it, as long as we are getting at least one person to listen, I think that we start to change the tide of people's belief. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the love. And I will see you again. Peace.
You eating any food? You are. Okay.